This video is brought to you by Robinhood, the investment brokers that let you buy stocks, ETFs, and cryptocurrencies all commission free. There's still time to take advantage of this historic 2020 stock market crash, and if you sign up using the link in the description below, you'll instantly receive one free stock without even depositing a single penny. No, this still isn't my real portfolio, but I have added to it a bit, like the stock on your screen. That's Cody. They make like makeup, Revlon, stuff like that. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. We got some Harpy Lady action for you guys to check out. Harpy Ladies have always had a very loyal fan base. They don't always get a ton of support, but usually when Konami gives Harpies support, whether it be in Sisters of the Rose or in Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy during Zexal, usually the Harpy support is very legitimate, and it makes Harpies a better deck. And we do know that Harpies in the future are getting a Synchro Monster of all things. I cannot wait for that thing to be revealed. I really hope that it is absolutely awesome. But Harpies obviously have benefited from Samorg, Bird of Kings, the Samorg Link Monster. And honestly, even though you can argue El Dorado is one of the best decks in the game, I personally see it as the best control deck in the game, even better in the OCG, where they have triple skill drain. You might not expect this, but Harpies have a fantastic matchup against El Dorado. Basically, I think that this is actually a hard counter because we know that Harpies really don't have a problem with control decks that like to use a lot of back row. Even these decks that have a lot of monster negation, things like Altergeist and, Guru control with Fiendish. The problem that they always have with the Harpy matchup is the Harpy monsters, every time they're summoned, are just popping the back row and you're not activating monster effects. And even if the El Dorado spells and traps float, it's just not good enough if you're constantly losing them every single turn just to your opponent summoning. So you can see right here, just a pretty basic start off with Harpies. I still don't think that they have fantastic turn ones unless you have, like, I don't know, Harpies Featherstorm, which unfortunately this is not. It's impermanence, which can negate effects, but believe me, it ain't no damn Featherstorm. Featherstorm is just nuts. And you luckily got the Ash Blossom for the Extravagance. I think that was huge. I think this duel probably would have went another way had he not, been able to get that. This was pretty slick here. So he knows he's gonna lose the Tornado to Eldlik the Golden Lord. He's going to just go ahead and say, you know what, Cap? Rather than just losing my Tornado Dragon, I'm going to pop my own Hysteric Sign, and that will let me search during the end phase. You don't want your Hysteric Sign just sitting on the field doing nothing. If nothing else, just go ahead and blow the damn thing up yourself. Anyways, he's going to take an attack. I don't really know if Impermanence does anything against the El Dorado deck. I feel like it just doesn't. Oh, another reason it'll come up in a second. You guys will see another reason why Harpies just smashes this. So you can see going crazy plus get your searches. During the end phase, I believe that he got 3 searches, including Harpy's Hunting Ground. And now, what exactly does the El Dorado player do? Because at this point, you're going to start popping some back row. I mean, you can get your Paleozoic Dynamiscus from the graveyard. You can try to summon Limit Me, but Harpies don't need that many summons, not to mention they can obviously just pop it. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Impermanence did come into play. Nice. He used Impermanence, not really as monster negation here, but he's using it as spell and trap negation to negate one of the El Dorado trap cards. Okay, that's about as good as you can hope for. Anyways, gets double pop. Perfumer's effect is going to activate. That'll get him the Alluring Mirror Split. Now you can go for Lightning Chidori. Don't even have to worry about sending the Golden Lord back to the graveyard. By destroying it, you can just go into something like Lightning Chidori, put it back in the deck. I feel like that's probably, outside of using Call by the Grave or banishing it, that's probably the best that you can hope for. And Harpies, of course, forget about playing Castel. You can just obviously go for that. And, it's looking like he's in pretty good position. Of course, El Dorado has its trap cards, and those cards do allow you to get other spells and traps. But the problem is, and you guys will just see it, you can constantly just pick apart their back row over and over and over again. And this is the good part, right? Even when these monsters are summoned, if your opponent's like, Cap, don't even worry, I'm just gonna summon them as monsters to the monster zone. Guess what, guys? They're still trap cards, which means you can still blow them up with Hunting Ground. So it doesn't matter if your opponent activates them or what. You still get the ability to blow them up. I think he's actually going to pop his own Alluring Mirror Split. That's going to get a Harpy Lady from the graveyard, and then he will pop it when it's in the monster zone. So there really isn't anywhere for your opponent to hide those cards, essentially. Basically, once you get Hunting Ground on field, you're just going to be in the driver's seat, and you're probably going to win. Also, you can go into this. some more Bird of Kings, then bring out the Wind Barrier statue, and basically they can't play Yu-Gi-Oh at that point because it's just not going to be much that they can do. I mean, I guess they can try to pop it from the hand using Eldrick the Golden Lord, but as you guys saw there, he used Harpy's Featherstorm, which negated it, and now it doesn't matter what you have with these spell and trap cards. Like, you can set as many of them as you want. You can't summon any of them because, you know, they're not win attributes, so you basically can't do anything. Game 2, I believe, is largely going to be a little bit of a run back. I mean, I just don't think there's anything El Dorado can do in this matchup. Like, I don't think it has anything to do. In fact, you'll see that this duel is significantly different. The opponent is now like, okay, I kind of got mopped in the first turn because Hunting Ground took away all my resources. And, you know, he instantly has the Hunting Ground and he's trying to defend himself. Going to use an Ash Blossom. And obviously you can't let these Harpy ladies hit the field. This tells you the desperation, by the way. My man activated a Solemn Judgment on the summon of Harpy Chandler. Now, if he didn't do that, he could have lost his monster, and I guess there would have been a 1 in 3 chance he could have lost his Solemn. But I mean, when you're using a Solemn Judgment on a Harpy Chandler, that tells me that you're taking this matchup pretty seriously. So at that point, I was like, okay, he obviously learned his lesson from the first game. But even floodgates like that, skill drain, that's not going to beat the Harpy deck. Either they're just going to blow it up or they're going to be able to play around it. You can see he uses Hysteric Party during his opponent's turn, actually pitching one of the Harpy ladies, and then you just like usually summon it back. And I just feel like this game's over. This matchup is just so easy for Harpy ladies. He already has Harpy Harpist on field. He goes for, you know, Harpy, why was I going to say Harpy Chandler? Harpy Conductor, right? Yeah, Harpy Conductor, the Link monster. Get some more monsters back, get some pops. I think he's just tilted. Whenever you activate Skill Drain just because, and you know you're going to lose it, I feel like you're just tilted at that point. I don't think that, Eldrick the Golden Lord is long for this world. He's just going to attack over it, probably pull out the Wind Barrier statue from his deck, and pretty much in the same position that we were in the first game. You can set those back rows. Well, this is the counter trap, so that's really not going to do anything, but you can set those cards, probably not doing much, and he is ultimately going to scoop it up. I think, well, no, I guess they do have some outs to the Wind Barrier statue. You have Skill Drain, and then you can pop it with Eldrick the Golden Lord. But outside of those two options, I feel like you pretty much just auto lose. And even then, when you do have Skill Drain, the Harpy ladies just kind of like pick it apart with, you know, your Harpy Hunting Ground. Anyways, let's check out this deck. You know, counter matchup definitely made this easy. I don't know what the Synchro could possibly do for Harpies. I think if I was I guess in R&D and I was trying to pick out an effect that Harpies could use, I would probably want to give them some spell and trap suppression, because I feel like that's the only thing in their kit that's missing. They need ways of stopping like spell and traps. They also need like more powerful turn 1 plays, because right now it's just, you know, Harpy's Featherstorm is like the whole show. This is something that I did in my build way back when I was building Harpies and I had the deck profile. Trap Trick, it's just super good. It allows you to pull things like Featherstorm from your deck. I was running other cards like Phoenix and Wind Blast, but you can see Torrential Tribute in here. Definitely a strong card if you don't open really strong, strongly. A lot of people don't play around Torrential, and I mean, it's a card that can just, you can capitalize off of it. If you hard draw it, or if you Trap Trick for it, I mean, chances are you just activate it on some type of non-inherent summon, like if your opponent activates Monster Reborn, chain Trap Trick, get your Torrential Tribute on field, and if your opponent tries to extend beyond that, you know, you just Torrential them. Anyways, if you guys are interested in this deck list, which I really like, to be honest, I think it has a good amount of go first and a good amount of go second, although I still think Harpies is a little better going second because of Harpies Hunting Ground and because they can run cheese like Double or Nothing. Of course, this deck will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And actually, turns out I lied. We got to get 10-minute ad revenue on every video because us YouTubers ain't making no money on ad revenue right now because of the CV. Anyways, this is plain Jane, pure version of El Dorado. This is the version I particularly like the most. I mean, yeah, there's the Synchro version out there. There's Invoked, but like, I don't know. I feel like the rest of this deck doesn't really facilitate that. People look at it as it doesn't have any normal summons, and that's fine. But really, what are you getting out of this archetype? Like, just play those decks pure or play a combo deck, because a lot of these trap cards and dispels in El Dorado don't really support you trying to combo out. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I do like this build. You got the 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, We saw that used against the Harpy Chandler in the duel. You do have summon limit. I guess you could say that this is a replacement for skill drain. Obviously not nearly as strong because skill drain is significantly better going second, and obviously can be very useful going first. Imperial Order, another card that's very similar to skill drain in the fact that can actually just win certain matchups, and it can be good going first or second. The only thing is, like when it comes to this deck in particular, you got to watch the life points, because anytime you're playing like 3 Solemns and you're also playing Imperial Order, which of course you can't turn off, and then you got skill drain on top of that, like you can't really afford to be taking a bunch of direct attacks because you're not going to have a lot of life points after activating a Solemn. And then if you got a skill drain after a Solemn or an Imperial Order after a Solemn, that's when it becomes a little problematic. And if you're Solemn, obviously the amount of times you can Imperial your opponent like goes drastically down. Anyways, this will be in the description below as well.